Just a moment. We're getting ready, and here we go. We're live. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to your holiday well-being blueprint to stress less, feel better, and start 2026 strong. Can you believe it? It's going to be another year. Before we know it, it's almost time. So, this is a topic that is really near and dear to me for so many reasons. Some of you already know my background is medical. I'm a nurse by trade. And I would see this time of year like just be so hard for my patients in the hospital, like such a hard time of year. And myself included, my dad passed away when I was younger, a little bit before the holidays. So the holidays have always, since then, been a time of joy, but also a time of grief. And I hear this a lot from my clients that this time of year is stressful. This time of year, there's all this additional responsibility on our plate. And what I've known to be true now is that this can be a time of year that we enjoy and honor where we're at in the process while still staying focused on what matters most to us because it can be a whirlwind and we can feel like the holidays came and go. We're, off our rocker. We enter the new year feeling like crap, picking up all the pieces from the end of the year. And so, my intention with this webinar is to give you some really tangible, science backed practices to help you navigate the holidays and also have you maybe look at this time of the year, if this tends to be a stressful time of the year for you, have you look at this time of year through a different lens, perhaps. So, what I do want to say that is if you are somebody who this time of year, although, yes, all the great things, the gatherings with people that you love and the fun cooking and eating and all of that, if this also brings up feelings of grief, if this also brings up feelings of sadness or conflict that you have, whether it's interpersonal conflict, whether it's something internally that you're dealing with, you're not alone. And while we're around people that maybe we haven't seen all year, family dynamics come out, there is a lot of added pressure. It makes sense from a biological standpoint that this time of year we could feel more overwhelmed. That this time of year it could be harder to stick with those healthy habits. That this time of year it could be more challenging to do the things that you say you're going to do that you know are going to help support yourself, and why it's harder essentially at times to do all the things that you know are going to make you feel good. And with this understanding, then we have power. Then we can really understand where we're at and we can work with ourselves. So if you look at it from a biological standpoint, when we're in survival mode, if this time of year just feels like, let me just do everything I can to get through the holidays and just, we're at this party, we are shopping for this, we've got this thing going on with this family member, maybe the kids need this, your parents need this, and then to top it off, unresolved trauma or heartache or things that have happened in the past during the holidays can start to resurface. So what happens is our capacity to be able to really take care of ourselves can start to shrink. And so, what we're going to do today is we're going to get really clear on how to expand that capacity and keep ourselves grounded so that we can really focus on what matters most and we can feel well and enter the new year from a place where we feel grounded, from a place where we feel healthy, where we feel strong. Does that make sense? So, my mindset used to be that this is the time of year where I party really hard the whole month of December. I eat everything because maybe there won't be food in the new year. Maybe there won't be cookies in the new year. And I just kind of like would throw all of those things that I know help me feel and live well. I would just get totally out of sorts this type of time of year. So part of it was the mindset piece. So I want you to also bring some curiosity to what has your past mindset been about the holidays? Has it been that this is the time of year to just go and um, just not take care of yourself in those healthy ways. I'm just gonna let a couple more people in here. Or maybe there's additional pressure to do all the things right for everybody else. So I want you to look at like what has your mindset been, because that's going to be a really important piece. And we now know that we have the power to shift our mindset. So let's look at the mindset piece. How do you feel? How do you think about going in the holidays? And what's going to make this holiday season different for you? Right? Maybe you're somebody who overextend yourself and feels like I have to buy a gift for every single person. No, Brittany, you don't understand. I have to. No, you don't. If you want to buy a gift for every single person, by all means do it. And you don't need my permission, but I really just want you to hear this loud and clear. If you don't want to put on the extravagant meal this year, if you don't want to do all of the shopping and buy gifts with matching bows and wrap all of the presents, you don't have to. You don't, right? And I want to encourage you, whatever it is you decide to embrace this rest of the year, right? These next 2, 3 weeks, that you do so from that place of, I am choosing this, right? There's a lot of power when we come from that place of, I'm choosing, I get to, versus I have to, or this is the way it's always been. Because right now you're on this webinar for a reason, and you really have the power to write the story moving forward in a lot of ways, right? There's a piece here that you can really use to empower yourself, as opposed to thinking that it needs to be the way it always has been, right? This can be a new traditions, new ways. And so how do we start to do that? The first thing is we have to make time and space for our well-being. And I get it that there's so much more going on this time of year for so many of us. Believe me, I'm like, where did my day go? I've been, from this client to that client, and now here I am. I was like, my husband's not feeling well, so I'm giving him food and trying to find meds and all that stuff right before the webinar. And so we're not going to stop the busyness that's going on all outside of us, right? But what we can do is we can really anchor into our own sense of groundedness, our own boundaries, our own practices and habits that help us live and be well. And it may look different. So today we are going to go over 3 really simple practices for you to do to expand that capacity to support your nervous system, so that you don't feel like you're in survival mode the next few weeks. Because here's the thing. When we are in that fight, flight, or freeze, when we're in that survival mode, when things maybe really are so overwhelming, we don't have the capacity to create healthy habits. We don't have the bandwidth to do those things that we know would be supportive for us. So it's really important that we create that space for ourselves so that we do have the energy to do the things that we know are good for us. Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit more about the effects of chronic stress and what happens. With that, we can have an increase in cortisol, which cortisol fluctuates normally anyway. It's just like all of our biochemical responses in the body. They drop, they raise, those kinds of things. But with chronic stress, we can have an increase in cortisol, which can have us not be able to make as healthy of decisions when it comes to food, which can have us crave sugar, which can have our increase our insulin levels. And so there can be a cascade effect from this chronic stress. Also, we can have a surge of adrenaline going nonstop. And from that, that wreaks havoc on our system. If you're somebody who finds yourself waking up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, wide awake, maybe your heart's beating fast, your mind is going a million miles a minute. This can be from several things. This can be from your blood sugar levels not being steady, and we're going to get a little bit into some nutrition things that'll be supportive for that. That can also be from this survival mechanism kicking in, thinking it's helping you, that during this detox hour of the liver, instead of that going as smoothly as we want it to go, what can happen is our blood sugar can drop. And our body then has a signal of, oh my gosh, we need to wake her up. We need to help her right now, which really doesn't feel helpful, right? When we're up at 3 o'clock in the morning and our heart's beating fast and our mind won't shut off. But this is a sign that, okay, this can be a sign that there's a lot of stress going on in the system. And so some of the things we can do to support that wake up at 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning is to make sure that we're eating a solid meal 3 hours before we go to bed so that it has lean protein in it, vegetables, some complex carbs, whether that's quinoa, brown rice, sweet potato, and avoiding alcohol as much as possible. But if we are going to have alcohol, really trying to keep it on the low end because it's a hormone disruptor and it also can drop that blood sugar even more, causing us again to wake up, having that high heart rate, having that, quick, quick mind going on. And so we want to have a solid meal 3 hours before dinner. If you're going to eat dessert, eat it at the end of your meal, but hopefully you're going to eat your desserts earlier in the day. I know, right? It's the holidays. Come on. But if you're going to have them at the end of your meal and try to make sure you're loading up with those healthy meals first. You're still hydrating, but if you're somebody who wakes up and goes to the bathroom all night long, go ahead and cut that off a few hours before bed as much as possible as well. And these practices that we're going to talk about and we're going to actually implement here are going to also be ones that help so that survival mode doesn't just wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, other things that can happen with the stress, as I mentioned, is that when emotions are high, intelligence is low. So, I want you to hear that from a place that you can understand yourself more. There's nothing, you're not broken, there's nothing wrong with you, like you're not a failure. I know sometimes like we can really get down on ourselves, like, why can't I just do what I know is gonna make me feel better? Well, here's the thing, when you're under a lot of stress, your intelligence is just not as sharp as it normally is. And so it's not uncommon that then we want to go for these quick fixes, right? We want to go for the cookies, we want to go for the cocktail. We're trying to make ourselves feel better, right? And what we get is we get an immediate return, but later on we pay for it, right? So I want you to think about that and that how can I set my environment up to support myself? How can I set my environment up so that there's healthy snacks that I can go to when I'm stressed and overwhelmed? Or how can I, if I know that I am going to have some drinks, let me make sure I get my meal on board. Let me make sure I'm extra hydrating, that I'm taking my vitamins, that I'm taking my electrolyte replacements, drinking plenty of fluids, making sure I'm not drinking on an empty stomach, for example. If there's a family member that really sends you over the edge, do not go around them when you're hungry. Don't go around them when you're already angry, when you're tired, when you're already like, if you can help it, right? We can't always help it. But we want to start to see ahead of time what are those areas that are triggering to us and how can we best support ourselves in those. So if you know already, like I said, that you don't want to do so many of the things that you already committed to, it's okay to honor your biology and to say, you know what, for my own well-being, I really can't this year. And it's only you that's going to know if yes, I can actually do this, and it's going to just require some logistical changes, some shift in my mindset, some setting some things up so that I can navigate this from a really nourished and grounded place. Or you know what, no, I'm not going to do this. Does that make sense? Only you are going to know what that is for your situation. I also want to add that excuse me, I've had a cold as well. I also want to add that when we have poor sleep, our leptin, which is what keeps us like feeling satisfied, that decreases. So prioritizing sleep, as we know, is going to be so important. But just the more we can have an understanding of what's going on biologically, then we can have a better understanding and give ourselves the compassion as well as the actionable, compassionate steps so that we can really prioritize our well-being. And also, when we're not sleeping well, ghrelin increases. So then that's the hunger hormone as well. So we want to make sure that we're keeping our glucose levels steady by eating, right? I can't tell you how many times a client comes to me and they are like so depleted and maybe they're in a state of burnout or overwhelm, and we want to look at the basic needs. Are they being met? And so oftentimes even the basic needs of eating at consistent intervals foods that are nourishing, a lot of times that's not happening. So we really want to start with those basic things because they do have such a big way to change our state and help us feel better. Does that make sense? Like sometimes I think we can underestimate just how important it is to get adequate nutrition at consistent times, and what a big way not doing that has on our whole entire quality of life. Whether you get irritable, whether you are moody, whether you get shaky or you can't focus or you get brain fog or you get overly emotional or you just totally shut down. A lot of that, I would look at, am I eating nourishing foods and am I eating them regularly? That's a big thing. Is my yes truly a yes for me? Or am I just doing this because it's what we've always done? And again, the only person for you personally who's going to be able to start to shift this is you, right? And hopefully you have people in your life who are understanding and going to be supportive. And sometimes that's not always the case, but it's up to us to really, as much as we can, create that space for our own well-being. So when it comes to our energy, if it's hard to do things, just think about the things that can be contributing, right? That other things that are left unresolved from previous holiday time. And really the holidays can be a beautiful time to do healing work because our triggers come up. I'm a firm believer that as much as it can be really hard to deal with, our triggers are gateways to deeper healing. So those things that like send you over the edge or you keep thinking about or bring up a lot of emotion, whether it's rage, whether it's an increase in sadness, whether it's grief, these can be gateways to deeper healing, right? I look at them as the soul is asking for attention. It's asking to be witnessed. It's asking to be heard. It's asking like, hey, there's something here. Look at this, right? Other things that can affect our energy during the holiday. We already talked about the blood sugar instability, the increase in cortisol, the additional stress that all this adds also on our mitochondrial health, as well as that nervous system overload. So sometimes we're going to feel wired, but we're tired. We're going to have brain fog, inflammation, exercise, all that can feel harder. So now we're going to get into some actual practices that will be supportive. And if you're in a place where you can do these, I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and join me on these so that you get a real-time experience of them versus just watching me do them. It's not the same. It's not the same. And I know sometimes it's tempting. Like you probably have if you're on your computer, you might have your computer screen open, or you might be, texting or doing other things. But I'm going to encourage you these are going to be 3 tools that you can go to, whether it's you're going for your 4th serving of sugary sweets and you don't really want anymore, but just that addiction loop is kicked in, or you're around a family member that is really challenging and difficult to be around, whether you're dealing with grief, whether you're dealing with feelings of overwhelm, you're trying to get clarity. We're going to do these 3 practices right now. And then I'm going to go into some other things that are going to be really important. And then we're going to finish with something called emotional freedom technique today, which is one of my favorite tools. So if you're in a place where you can, I'm going to invite you to let your eyes relax. You can even close your eyes down. And just for now, we're going to do a somatic practice. So this is a body practice. And I want you to start to bring awareness to the support underneath your body. And feel where your body makes contact with the chair or the couch or wherever you're seated. And right now, I want you to say it to yourself, maybe even out loud if you're in a place where you feel comfortable to do so. I am supported. And just give your full body weight to the chair, give your full body weight to the surface. Especially when we have a lot on our plate, we can feel like, who's here to support us, right? Who's really here for me? So this actual physical practice of I am supported. And so this is one you can do while you're sitting with family on a chair, couch. Just allow yourself to be supported. And now I want you to start to bring awareness to your body. So just noticing internal sensations in the body, maybe for the first time today. Maybe areas feel tense or relaxed, numb, open. So just bring in curiosity. There's no wrong or right way to experience the body. We just want to get in touch with the body's wisdom. The head sometimes takes over and we want to know what's going on and be with whatever's in the body without getting into the story. And then start to bring awareness to the palms of your hands. And if your hands are clenched in any kind of way, see if you can start to relax your hands, just soften the hands, letting go. And then go ahead and make a fist again. Just tighten those fists and see how that feels. Just notice how that feels in your body. Maybe even get a little tense in the shoulders where the breath starts to get a little shallow. And then go ahead and relax the hands. Soften the hands, soften the neck and the shoulders. And this can be a reminder for us to surrender, to allow, to release that which we can't control, and to welcome relaxation into the body. And now we're going to do a breathing practice. So becoming aware of the breath. If the mind wanders, that's okay. Just bring your awareness back. Noticing the breath, the movement of the breath, the sound of the breath. And on the next inhale, take a deep breath in, fill the belly up, and hold the breath. And then exhale slowly out through the mouth. Release. 3 more breaths this way. Fill yourself up. Release the jaw. Big breath in. Breath hold at the top. Pause. And then exhale out with a sigh. 2 more breaths this way. Deep inhale. And then exhale. Let it all go. One more time. Deep breath in. Pause. Exhale. Release. You might just move your body a little side to side. Maybe shake your hands out. Just like letting it go. And so these are really quick 60-second practices that are going to support your nervous system. So they're going to help you shift out of that survival mode and they're going to help you come back to a place of groundedness so that you can do what you need to do. They give you a little bit of space too, so that we can come back to that power of choice and they bring those sense of well-being. So whether it's to bring awareness to the body, like we did, feel the support underneath your body. Feel your feet on the ground, the support underneath your body. I am supported, especially anytime you're starting to feel overwhelmed. You're being pulled in so many directions. A lot of stuff is coming up. I am supported. Take a pause. Come back to the breath. That deep belly breath activates the vagus nerve, which helps shift us into the parasympathetic, that rest, digest, the healing, the place where we can really make decisions that are supportive, the way we can get clarity on a situation. We want to do that deep belly breath because when we're in stress, when we're in overwhelm, we're doing that shallow breathing. Take a few deep breaths before you decide if you're somebody who tends to overeat or overdrink during the holidays. Before you go into the next beverage or the next food, right? And also again, those actual practices that we're going to shift, these things that we're going to shift to talk about next are going to make it easier as well. And there really is, we want to set ourselves up for success as much as we can. Life's going to happen. we're going to have stressors. We're going to have things that trigger us. We're going to have emotions come up, and that's all okay. One of the things that we want to do is not self abandon. We want to really show ourselves, let ourselves know that I have my own back mentally. I have my own back emotionally. I have my own back physically. Because sometimes it might feel like nobody has our back, or sometimes it might feel like there are so many things going on right now. What's up from down, right? And one of the ways that we can create this sense of inner safety, we can expand this sense of well being, is to have our own back in these kinds of ways, right? And our mind is also super powerful. So some other things that we can do are, we talked about food, making sure you're eating at least 30 grams of protein with your meals, quality protein, and you're eating vegetables at every meal. I know it kind of sounds like we all know eat your fruits and vegetables, but it's serious, right? We need that fiber for glucose control. We need that protein to help also stabilize blood sugar, keep our muscles nice and strong, keep us, even keel for the day, allow us to do life, help us with decreased cravings, help us, not end up with brain fog. So again, nutrition, hydration is going to be so important. Starting your day off with something wellness focused practice, right, is going to be so supportive, even if it's 5 minutes to take a few deep breaths. Maybe you do some stretches. Maybe you say a few things out loud that you're grateful for. Every day, I write down my intention for today. My intention today was to be grateful and peacefully present. And throughout the day, I'll remind myself, okay, am I being peacefully present, or am I thinking about a million other things? Okay, let me come back to my intention. Getting sunlight in the morning, starting with hydration, just having some practices in the morning. Like I said, even if it's 5 minutes before you pick up the cell phone, before, we start on the to-do list, before we start answering all the calls that, are there, taking a few minutes for ourselves is so important. And then another thing we can do is after our meals, go for a 5 to 10 minute walk. I'm a fan of the Glucose Goddess. She's a biochemist, and these are one of the things that she really recommends to stabilize blood sugar and support metabolism, is make sure that you're going to go for a walk after your meals. 5 to 10 minutes, that's all it is. Take a quick loop around the neighborhood. You're going to feel better. Your digestion is going to be better. You're going to sleep better later. This is going to help stabilize your blood sugar. Plus, you get the benefit of getting in those extra steps. If you have somebody in your family during the holidays that you want to go walk with, have them come along with you as well. That's going to be supportive. I also want to just side note, talk about some things that can be helpful when it comes to peptides. I am a huge fan of peptides as a tool to the overall lifestyle kit. If anybody wants more information, we can book a peptide consult. But these can also be supportive in your overall physical health, and it's all connected, right? Our physical, emotional, mental, spiritual life is all intertwined. These can be really helpful in creating a strong foundation. So I'm just going to give you an overcap of a few peptides that you may want to research and see if they're a good fit for you. GLP-1s, so that's glucagon-like peptides. What those do is they decrease cravings, they stabilize blood sugar, they help you feel fuller longer. We're seeing now a lot of anti-inflammatory effects on those as well, and that there is some cardiac protection, cardio protection in those. And those come in injection form. You can microdose that, or if you're somebody who has let's say 25 pounds or more to release, that can be another way to support you in conjunction with a healthy lifestyle. Another peptide that I really love for mitochondrial health, for energy health, for the brain as well. Also helps like all of the nutrients get into the cells. It's involved in 500 different cellular processes. That's NAD plus. I'm a huge fan of that one. I think that's huge. As we age, it starts to decrease. So this can be one that's really supportive in your overall energy, as well as does wonders on the brain. And then the third one I want to talk to you about is sermorelin. So if you are somebody who's not sleeping very well, if you're somebody whose energy is not really good, like you're feeling drained all the time, your recovery after a workout or a physical activity is really poor. Sermorelin helps work on your body's natural growth hormone, which again decreases as we get older. So it works on your growth hormone and helps you with your recovery. It helps you get into deeper sleep. It helps, I've heard great things about it as you're on it for like a month to a month and a half. Support with libido, helps target visceral fat as well. So these can be in conjunction to the things that we already talked about to really support you in your health and help you head into the new year feeling well, feeling strong, feeling focused, feeling alive, right? We have this one special life. I know people hype up the new year. So what I think is any time is a great time to start, but there is a lot of momentum that can be created when you're here on this webinar and you're thinking about how does my 2025 holiday season, how do I want to feel? How do I want to enjoy myself? What do I want to give my energy to? What do I want to focus on? What do I want to leave in 2025? And what do I want to bring with me into 2026? There's a lot of power in that intention. And I'm going to encourage you, write this out. Don't just listen to me, but really write it out because there's a lot of power in that because you might forget what you said. If you don't write it out, you should see around me. With my clients, we create a holistic wellness plan. It's written out. They have it somewhere that they review every day. Or to say, as you just see behind me, I have all of these things written out as these reminders because we need that, right? To help keep us focused on what matters most to us. Another thing that I want to share with you before we get into the EFT is about boundaries. It is okay for you to say, that doesn't work for me right now. Can I get back to you on that? I'm choosing a quiet night tonight. I want to just, you don't need my permission, but sometimes we just need to hear that that's okay. Because when we feel guilty, when we feel like all worried and stressed that we're not meeting the standards of other people, again, it has a effect on our system. And not that we're going to avoid that completely, we're not. But for our own overall well being, we want to create that sense of safety, that sense of wellness, that sense of okayness. And so it is okay to say, you know what? I can't tonight. And also to notice when the body starts to feel restricted. Sometimes the body is giving us information that's different than what's going on in the mind. And it's not up to us to totally come up with a whole story of what's going on in the body and make a big story out of it, although we can do that. Sometimes it's just enough to say, you know what? I'm feeling restricted, my body's feeling heavy or tired, or there's something just not sitting right. This just doesn't really feel aligned for me. And just let it be that. Just let it be and honor that for yourself. So now we're going to shift into a EFT practice. EFT is something that I work with my coaching clients a lot. It's called emotional freedom technique. It's a mind-body practice. And so it helps us work with the subconscious and unconscious mind. It also helps shift emotional and energetic blocks in the body. And we're going to do this on our intention and our focus for well-being this holiday season and do some vision casting into 2026. So I'm going to show you the tapping points, and when we go through them, I'm going to give you some prompts of things to think about, and then I'm also going to bring in some different words and things as well. So we're going to start tapping on the pinky side of the hand here, and we're working on acupressure points. So if you think about traditional Chinese medicine works on acupuncture points, we're using acupressure points here. And when we tap on these spots, it lowers cortisol, so it lowers the body stress response. So we're in a more relaxed state. We're more open to what's possible. This can help us with reprocessing. And then we're going to go to the eyebrow point, to the side of the eye, that little groove there, to the cheekbone, underneath the nose, little bottom lip groove here, collarbone points, underneath the armpit, and top of the head. And then we'll go back through, we'll start to the eyebrow point. So I'm going to invite you, let your eyes close down for a few moments, settle into that support underneath your body, sit up nice and tall. Feel that support underneath your body. You might even say to yourself again, I am fully supported. Taking those deep breaths again. Really just practicing those skills that we already practiced tonight. Those deep breaths and a slow, steady exhale out through the mouth. Filling yourself up and letting go. Saying to yourself, I take full responsibility for my life and my well being. I take full responsibility for my life and my well being. Then we'll go ahead and we'll tap on the pinky side of the hand. Even though it's not uncommon for things to get stressful during the holidays, I'm open to feeling well regardless. Even though there are things that have been grabbing my attention, I love, honor, and respect myself no matter what. Even though there's stress that comes up for me during the holiday, I love, honor, and respect myself no matter what. Come into the eyebrow point. And I want you to think about anything that has been coming up for you so far this holiday season. Side of the eye, maybe things you've been worried about. Don't edit them, just let it show up underneath the eyes. If there's been any pressure that you felt, just acknowledging that underneath the nose. If there's any sadness or anger, any grief, acknowledging that as well underneath the nose. And taking a deep, slow inhale and a complete exhale. Come into the collarbone points and reminding yourself that you're doing the best that you can do and that that's enough. Underneath the armpit. That there's no perfect way to spend the holidays. Top of the head. Although you probably have your own expectations of the way things should be. Coming to the eyebrow point, what if you just let go of all of those shoulds and shouldn'ts? Side of the eye, and found a sense of okayness with the way you are underneath the eye, and maybe an okayness with everybody else who's involved in your life underneath the nose. It doesn't mean that you have to like other people's behaviors or the way certain situations are underneath the bottom lip, but that you can find some acceptance to that. Coming to the collarbone point, focusing on what you're grateful for underneath the armpit. Grateful that you're able to focus your intention this holiday season, top of the head, and bring your focus to what's most important to you. And what is that? What's most important to you this holiday season? Side of the eye. Is it to spend time with your loved ones? Is it to have boundaries that are really self-honoring underneath the nose? Is it to laugh and to enjoy underneath the bottom lip? If this was your last holiday season, collarbone points, what would you focus on? How would you enjoy yourself underneath the armpit? And then I want you to visualize that in action, top of the head, that you are enjoying these last few weeks. Come into the eyebrow point, letting go of it needing to be perfect or needing to be a certain way. side of the eye, and let go of any extra pressure underneath the eye, and just focusing on what matters most to you underneath the nose. And again, reminding yourself you're doing the best that you can underneath the bottom lip, and that's enough. Coming to the collarbone points and just really feeling that in your body. That even the way things are, the way you are, that it's okay. That there's enoughness in this underneath the armpit, and that you're choosing your inner peace, top of the head, and that you're choosing to embrace these next few weeks, eyebrow point, with your full intention of love, side of the eye, and well being underneath the eye. And you're calling into your life many things for the new year underneath the nose. Just bring those in your awareness, whether that's to be more present underneath the bottom lip, whether that's to worry less, collarbone points, to be more active, to laugh more, to have more fun, to finally do that thing, whatever that is. Just connecting with your vision underneath the arm, your intention, really allowing that to settle in, top of the head, and then thanking yourself for taking the time to show up, really honoring yourself in this moment, giving yourself love, gratitude, respect, appreciation. You can stop tapping and just let that go ahead and settle in. Just allowing that to be as it is. And then asking yourself, what do I really need this holiday season? It might be to be kinder to yourself. It might be to set up your meals. But only you really know. What do I really need to support myself best this holiday season? And then giving yourself the space to really answer whatever that call is. And feeling back into the soles of your feet, palms of your hands, relaxing the palms of the hands. Maybe roll the shoulders a couple times in one direction and then roll in the other direction. That's another thing you can do. Those shoulder rolls, neck rolls, releasing the jaw. All these things are helpful. And then when you're ready, if your eyes are closed, you can open up your eyes. Let's go ahead and look around your space. Maybe find something that you appreciate in the space around you. I have this little plant here, and on the little planner it says it's a good day. So I always like to look at that, and I've kept it alive, so even better. So I want to thank you all for joining me. I want to encourage you to write down your holiday intention. Write down 1 to 3 things that you know are going to support you these next few weeks. Put it somewhere so you're reminded of what that is. You know yourself, you know your life, you know what you need when you really take that time to ask yourself and tune in. You do know. And so I wish you all very happy holidays. If anybody is looking for additional support, I do have one more spot left in my holistic well-being coaching program. So it's a 4-month program with a lot of one-on-one support, uh, specific based on what it is that you're working on. And we work through a biopsychosocial spiritual support. So what is that? We work on physical health, emotional, mental well-being, spiritual life, relationships, all focused on what it is that your goal is. And we do a lot of nervous system regulation and helping you feel your best and enjoying your life and living life according to what's most important to you. And if anybody's interested in peptides, just reach out to me. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for being here. If you found value in this video or this webinar, feel free to tag a friend. It'll be posted up on Facebook for a while, and I'll also have it on my YouTube channel. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy holidays. Good to see
Happy
you.
holiday.